still following this?
I don't know. How is he still alive? If she's like 70, he's got to be like 90.
Yeah. He's a 90-year-old prankster.
Yeah.
Who murders dogs.
What a dickhead.
Yeah.
That's worse than the guy who stole all that money.
Yeah. What a dickhead.
Yeah.
There's so many dickheads this
Yeah,
week.
this should be the dickhead episode, not the Halloween episode.
It's still just as scary.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So yeah, that's mine. What are a few more that have stuck with you? Like that you've just read and been like, holy shit.
Okay, there's one where there was this woman who went to a South American country and came back with this doll, and she kept it like in her room. She put it on like a nightstand, and then the next day she wakes up and she's got a boil, like just a little boil on her face, and she's like, oh, this hurts. Well, I'll just cover it up with makeup, and she just makes it up. And then in the coming weeks, it grows bigger.
She makes it up.
It grows bigger and bigger and becomes more painful. And so she's like, well, I guess I'll have to go to the doctor. But the doctor's closed that day. So she's like, I'll go tomorrow. And so she goes and she takes a bath. And then all of a sudden, the boil explodes. And millions of tiny spiders just crawl out of it.
Oh, God.
And so it turns out that the doll that she got had a spider in it that laid eggs inside her cheek during the night. And so, yeah.
Oh, God. That would be the worst. I would die after that.
Yeah, that's one of those that always stuck with me.
I would literally die. I would see one crawl across my face, have a heart attack, and die. I hate spiders.
Yeah, I know you do.
I hate them.
How about one of yours?
I don't know if it stuck with me because it's scary or just because I think it's ridiculous. But the hook hand, the couple who go to make out point, and like the girl's like, oh, I hear something. And he's like, it's nothing. And he's like, go check. Like, okay. So the guy goes and he checks, and like he never comes back. But she hears something again and gets creeped out, so she drives off. She just leaves the guy there, takes his car. That's kind of mean.
No.
But when she gets home, she opens the door and she looks, and there's a hook for a hand. A hook for a hand.
It's just a hook for a hand.
There's a hook on her door.
This hook looks like it belongs on a hand. Yeah, that one's a good one. And they have made movies about that too.
I've heard another version of that where like it's still the couple and they still hear on the radio that there's a murder on the loose. But like when the guy goes to check, all of a sudden the girl starts hearing like noises on the roof, and so she decides to drive off. And what the noise was is that the killer had hooked him on a noose and thrown him over a branch and tied the back of it to the car. So as she drives off, it's pulling him up.
Oh, that's awful. That's worse.
Yeah, that one's actually scary to me.
Oh God, no, that's
like some Saw level shit.
Yeah, that's one smart killer for just having gotten out of prison.
Yeah.
She's like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hang this guy and make his girlfriend actually hang him.
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
You got any others that have just stuck with you?
I have one that it stuck with me not because it's scary, but because it actually makes me laugh. Basically, this is a story that it happened to this guy who was in this office building late at night. And he got a phone call. And on the other side was this voice. It was a very raspy voice. And he's like, I'm the Viper. I'm coming in an hour. So the guy's like, it's just a prank. So he hangs up. And in about 20 minutes, he gets another phone call. And it's, I'm the Viper. I'm coming in 40 minutes. And so he's like, oh, my God. This is getting a little creepy. So he hangs up again. And again, in 20 minutes, the guy calls again. And he's like, I'm the Viper. I'm coming in 20 minutes. And he's like, oh, shit, this is getting closer and closer. And again, in 10 minutes, the guy calls, and he's like, I'm the Viper. I'm coming in 10 minutes. And he's like, oh, God, oh, God. And so he calls the police, and they're like, all right, we'll be sending someone over there. And then 1 minute before he gets a call, and he's like, I'm the Viper. I'm coming in a minute. And then he hears a knock on the door. And he's like, is that the police? And so he goes and he opens the door. And he opens the door, and there's this little old man with a bucket. And he's like, I am the Viper. I've come to clean your windows.
Wow.
And this was too in that book of scary stories to tell in the dark.
Nice. That's a great story.
I thought it was just hilarious.
Yeah.
It was one of my favorites. But yeah, how about you? You have another one?
I'm trying to rack my brain. I used to know so many.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know one that's apparently true.
Oh.
And it's okay, so apparently it's about this couple who go to Las Vegas. So you can relate to
Ooh,
this.
I was just there.
Yeah. They go to Las Vegas for the weekend. They get in their room, and it just smells terrible.
Oh.
It smells like absolute death in their room.
Mm-hmm.
And like they look around and they can't find what the smell is. And so they call down to the front desk and like, hey, our room smells like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody fucking come clean it. And so someone goes in, cleans it while they go and gamble and stuff.
Yeah.
And they come back and it still smells awful.
Yeah.
And so they're like, okay, well, we're going to tear this place apart and try and find it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they tear the whole place apart. And when they flip the bed over, there's a dead body under there.
Yep. I've heard that one.
And apparently it's true. This
Yeah.
happens a lot in Las Vegas, actually.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
I saw that on the documentaries that I was watching. The crime shows that they have there. It's weird.
That's not something you would want to see while there. Like
No.
That seems like something they should hide.
Yeah.
Or like that also seems like great advertising for a hotel. Like blah 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 hotel. You won't find any dead bodies here.
That'd be I would use that as a tagline if I had a hotel.
Yeah. What about the one of the woman driving home and she's being followed and the guy keeps flashing her lights?
I do like that one.
Yeah, that one's good. And then when she
There's,
gets home, she says like she pulls over and he pulls in after her. She gets out to try and confront him, and he's just like, "There's someone in your back seat.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I flashed my lights, they would go back down,
Mm-hmm.
and we need to call the police."
There's one about sort of similar, not really though, where it's this guy and he's driving and he picks up this other guy who's on the street, and he's like, "Where you going?" And he's like, "I just need to get into town." And they're like, "All right, hop in." And so they drive down, and then they hear on the radio that there's this guy who he's a serial killer. And he goes around with a briefcase and he has a knife in it and he kills people.
Yeah.
And so as soon as they hear that, the driver just like turns off the radio. He's like, we don't need to listen to this. And so they pull into a gas station and the guy's like, I'm just going to go buy a soda. The passenger is like, I'm just going to go buy a soda. And he goes and he comes back to the car and there's no one in the car. Like the guy's not there anymore. But in his seat is a briefcase with a wig and a knife. So the guy driving the car was the serial killer that was about to kill him.
Wow.
Yeah.
That I've heard a version of that actually, where it's a woman driving, and she picks somebody up like at a gas station, and then he's like, "I just need to run in really quickly," and like he leaves the suitcase, but the woman remembers she has to go pick up her daughter, and so she drives off, forgetting the man. And when her daughter gets in, they realize what happened, and they open up the suitcase, and it's got a knife and a wig in it.
Oh.
Yeah. It's crazy how things change.
Yeah, those stories are crazy.
Yeah.
But they're pretty good.
Yeah, it's fun to listen to those kind of stories just to get a little freaked out. Anyway, so obviously we're both from other places.
Yeah.
So have you heard any like scary local legends, stuff like that?
Not from I'm born from Mankato, Minnesota, but I never really heard any stories from there. So most of my stories are from Mexico. And some of them my mom told me, and she actually encountered some of these stories.
Oh, creepy.
And I think one of my favorites from hers is, so there's this temple in Mexico called the Temple of Tapalpa, and they have a cage in the temple.
Okay.
And this is one that my mom actually got to experience.
Wait, is there a translation for...
No, that's just the name of the temple.
Okay.
Yeah. So they have a cage there. And about 20 years ago, there used to be a statue of like a dog in it. and they said, we have the devil trapped in here. This is the devil. And so that was like a tourist attraction. People would go and see the statue of the devil inside the cage. And my mom actually got to go see the statue.
That's cool, but so creepy.
And then about 2 years, no, I wouldn't say 2 years, about 15 years ago, there were witness reports that someone had clawed open from the inside the cage, and the statue was no longer there.
Wow.
And people have said that they've seen the statue walking around town. So the rumor is that the devil walks around in Mexico.
That's creepy.
Yeah. So that's one that I was like, that's really, really cool, because the statue was actually there, and now it's not.
They probably should have, put more than just a cage there.
Well, I mean, it was on a temple.
Like,
so,
chain link fence.
It's holy. And, I mean, the statue was a representation of the devil. It wasn't the actual devil.
It is very holy. It's chain link. I'm sorry.
But, yeah, I thought that was a really cool one.
Yeah.
My mom told me about. Mm-hmm. How about you?
Yeah, I am originally from Pine Ridge. There are quite a few.
Mm-hmm.
We have this road down there called Red Shirt Table Road.
Yep.
Which is supposed to be, like, super haunted.
Mm-hmm. Well, the name, like, Red Shirt. I'd assume so.
And it's just, like, there's a bunch of shit that happens there. People have said, like, walking there, they've seen, like, UFOs.
Mm-hmm.
They'll, like, be driving down the road, and someone will be sitting in their back seat.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that.
Yep.
There's a lot. Do you have any more? Do we want to just go back and forth?
Sure.
Okay.
There's an urban legend in Mexico where if you where sometimes throughout the day you might see these little fireballs that'll roll on the ground, and if you follow them, they'll lead you to the riches of someone who's died, and fireball represents them telling you that they want you to take it.
That's nice.
Yeah, and so that's a really cool story. But my mom, when she was a little girl, she was about 8. They had a little pool outside their house, right? So she was sitting out there, and she saw this little fireball over out in the field, and it was just like rolling. And she didn't know the legend at the time, so she was like, "That's fucking weird." And so she got up and got her dad, my grandfather, and my grandfather did know the urban legend. And so they followed out to where my mom had seen the fireball, and they digged it up, and they found this little bottle full of coins in it.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I thought that was really cool, too.
If only they found someone who had more money.
Yeah, right?
You think people ever get like that? Like, God damn it, I couldn't have gotten someone like fucking, I don't know, somebody rich. Like Ponce de Leon's ghost.
It's the treasure of someone who's died. You can't complain about it. They've deemed you worthy.
I can and I will.
How about you? You got any other ones?
Yeah. Okay, so there's a local legend. There's an old hospital in Pine Ridge, which is kind of abandoned.
Yeah.
And people say that there's a spirit living there called the Tall Man, and like he just tortures kids.
Oh man.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's getting a little crazy down there now. Sadly, there's a lot of suicides.
Yeah,
in
I heard
Pine
about
Ridge.
that.
And quite a few kids are blaming him for it. I don't know if that's them just being like, oh, it's, if they actually believe that, or they're just trying to get out of it.
It's just a scapegoat.
Yeah. But yeah, that's like he's just a very tall man in a dark black coat and a hat.
Damn.
Who lives in the old hospital. And
that's kind of creepy.
Tortures kids.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be fine if he was just the tall man. But the fact that he tortures kids just takes it to a new level that I can't handle.
I don't think we have any cool ones like yours. I think mine are all scary.
There's one that happened to my grandfather. And so, okay. And this only happens to truck drivers in Mexico. So, and there's this stretch of road that once someone has driven down it for like a couple years or so, they'll see this woman in the road with like a cloak, like she'll have a hood on. And so if you stop and pick her up, she'll get into the car, and if you look at her, she'll take off the